Did you know that Governor Ron DeSantis and the Florida Board of Education is dead set on whitewashing Black history? Yes, they are. It's true. Their new 2023 academic standards are determined to pull the cotton over the students' eyes. But we're here to unveil the truth. Watch to the end for a shocking revelation that will make you question everything. So where do we start? The beginning. So ladies and gentlemen, I present to you the latest iteration of Ron DeSantis telling Black people, I don't care about you Black people.
Preach, husband, preach.
I mean, I don't know how you can make this any clearer. The Florida board came up with guidelines for their teachers to follow. This is right on the tail of the Woke Act, and we know what that was. That's basically a shutting down of Black history teachings in the Florida curriculum. And now, with taking things a step further, see, this gave them an opportunity to say, okay, we got new guidelines, we got new laws, so we need to restructure the curricula. So let's go into the back and come up with the worst thing imaginable. Yeah, things weren't bad enough for Florida students. Things weren't bad enough for Black Florida students. In fact, folks, I'm going to reframe this. Things are not bad enough for Floridians. Because when you take away Black history, when you deny a person the ability to know what the hell is going on, you deny them everything. And that's not just privilege to or to any one particular color or group of people. All people deserve to know the truth about America. All should know the truth of America. So it's going down. We'll get into more specifics about it. But just know, folks, this don't look good. We got Kamala Harris going to Florida, and she went to give DeSantis a good talking to. A good talking to. I saw that some people covered this. Some people covered Kamala Harris going down to Florida to talk to Ron DeSantis and get on the stump and point out the gross inequities, inequalities, the inadequacies of the new curriculum. And they said, wow, we got Kamala coming down and she's doing, and they need to keep it real. Kamala Harris is not a good steward of this message because Kamala Harris is not a good steward of anything, really. I just don't get it, folks. Folks, I'm talking to my Black woman out there. Kamala Harris does not represent you. This woman went down to Florida to give DeSantis a piece of her mind, a good talking to, and in her speech, she didn't even say his name. I guess she doesn't want to elevate him, but look, Kamala, VP, Vice President, he's already the governor. Saying his name will not elevate him. He's already elevated. And also, he's running for the nomination in the Republican Party. You not saying his name, not calling him out by name, not running his name in the dirt does not save Biden work to do. Where do we get these people? How are you going to go at a guy and not say the guy's name? So first of all, it's passive-aggressive and it's milquetoast. It's banal. It's lazy. It's ineffective. Get that guy out of business. Now, I'm not saying be like me. I'm not saying do me. Don't do me. Only I can do me. You don't want to go down there and do it. But I'm saying get a guy to work. Give him the work. So we need a smack battle rap style thing going on here. Get this work. So anyway, in one benchmark, middle schoolers would learn that enslaved Americans develop skills. Guys develop skills that will later help them in life. The Florida Board of Education approved a revised Black history curriculum to satisfy legislation signed by Governor Ron DeSantis. So, Governor Ron DeSantis, this is a reaction to the new legislation law. So now we need to change how we do things to fit into the criteria of the new law. And these women's of the, what is it? The women's of the, what are those white women in history?
Daughters of the American Revolution.
These daughters of the American Revolution. That's it. Give it up for her. This board looked more like the daughters of the American Revolution than anything I've seen lately. It gave them an opportunity to go and gut the curricula and make a very watered down version of history. Oh man, they're so happy. They look so giddy. And this was all done because of Ron DeSantis. So, though he in a press conference says, hey, look, I didn't come up with the curricula, these guys did. But if I had to guess why they did it this way, yeah, you know exactly why they did it this way. They got their marching orders from you, from the law that you signed. So, back to this. Ron DeSantis says he had to do it. He had to do it. He had no choice to do it. He was forced to do it because you are indoctrinating white kids. Or, I don't know if he said, well, he didn't say white. He said liberal indoctrination. Yeah, history, accurate history, is liberal indoctrination. The new standards include instruction that enslaved people benefited from skills that they learned. You hear that, black folks? Your ancestors benefited from being slaves because they learned how to do things like lay steel when being penetrated. We're not going to pretend here. Why are you tuning into this show if you got a weak stomach? Don't tune into the show if you got a weak stomach. This is the Tim Black Table. So let's go back to all the great things black people learned while being enslaved. How to be whipped. Ooh, that's useful. Wow, can't wait to put that on my resume. Oh, that's right. I'm not allowed to read. Let's see. How to be abandoned by parents because they were forcibly removed from your lives. These are the great things that Ron DeSantis and his board of Nazis said we were so happy to be able to learn. It took us and propelled us later on in life. What was the exact words Ron DeSantis used? We parlayed these skills later in life. I mean, the ones that were alive. Because, you know, the 8 generations or so of blacks, whatever it was. You know, the ones, not the first group that came in, 16, 19, not them, because they were born and died slaves, or were captured slaves that had kids and were forced, they didn't have kids, because slaves didn't have kids. They had a litter, because they weren't considered kids. I mean, come on, guys, are we going to talk or we not going to talk? I just want to know, y'all want to talk? I just want to talk. I mean, I want to keep it real. I mean, if that's okay with you. Because what I'm sensing is we got a lot of people that want to kiss ass. Since you want to kiss ass, pretend to be a conservative, you want to be a Republican, because you say that's where the money is. All these people that's coming out defending Vivek Ramaswamy. All these black people that are coming out defending Vivek Ramaswamy. All of these black Trumpers. This is your party. This is your party. Defend it. Defend it. Defend it. Don't cower up now. Let's talk about some of the other skills that we developed. That we were able to, it was like an apprenticeship program for women who wanted to learn how to be operated on against their will without anesthesia. As guinea pigs, the most gruesome, horrific, inhumane medical testing that would make the Nazis go like, wow, you did that shit? Was done on black women so they could find out better ways to help white women. But they didn't want to try it on white women. They try it on black women. They can't feel anything. They're not even human. That's a great skill to have. Medical experimentation. It's always a great skill to have. That will get you well. I don't know many job openings with it, but it's a great requisite. It's a good requisite. It's a good conversation starter with your future employer. And just the audacity to even bring this up. Like, folks, what kind of world are we living in a world where people will defend this shit? Not only come up with it, but people that will defend it. There are people defending it right now. Hope none of you are defending it. So, black American descendants of slaves benefited from being enslaved. Because now they have stuff that they can do. They learn valuable skills. Like running for your lives from dogs, hounds. How to hang about the neck until dead. That's not a good skill because you're dead, you can't use that one. Damn. That's a great skill. This is what they're teaching kids. Or this is what they want to teach kids. This is what they plan to teach kids. And there's no way to stop them unless I don't know. The government overreach on parental rights has already been overwhelming, and Florida has shifted to the right under Ron DeSantis, his leadership as governor. He signed legislation on a number of educational issues, such as banning drag shows at schools. How many drag shows? Folks, when are my conservative dum-dums and my liberal dum-dums? There's a lot of dum-dums. There's dum-dums all across the spectrum. There's socialist dum-dums and liberal dum-dums, progressive dum-dums. There are all types of dum-dums. But right now I'm talking about conservative dum-dums. Folks, how many drag shows really can they be? You don't see when someone's playing you by latching on to a wedge issue that's like minuscule and actual damage. Like, it's like something so rare. It's like, hey man, we're gonna ban purple jumpsuits on Tuesdays in months that end with the letter H. Yeah, let's do that. I'm just saying it's so rare. Who gives a shit? And then you vote for a guy based on him making you hate people that wear the purple jumpsuits and some Wednesday, whatever day I said, I made it up. But I'm saying, you don't realize that with this drag queen shit? So anyway, he did that. He also said we got new requirements for transgenders using the bathroom. Woo! In 2022, he signed what he called the Stop Woke Act, which limits how race can be taught in school, in which the governor used to attract or attack critical race theory, a subject he has described as crap. There you go. That's a great way for a very educated governor to talk. It's just crap. The law essentially says students can't be made to feel guilty about their race because of injustices of the past. You know, this whole thing where it's against the law, basically, in Florida, for people to feel bad. I feel bad all the time. All the time. Every time I think about Jim Clyburn stealing the election, throwing the election, I think about Obama making phone calls at 11 o'clock at night to push Biden's punk ass through the doors of acceptability and to set up a tribunal to get his punk ass through the primary, which he should have never, ever been involved in. They would go to so far lengths to make sure you don't feel bad, they would rewrite history for you so that you can not know shit and you can walk around stupid. All because they want to protect your image of great-grandma. Not what you did, but great-grandma, what she did. But things other people have done in other parts of the world, fine to know. It's fine to know what other people did. It's fine to know what the Nazis did. In fact, you better never forget it. I downloaded this, a 216-page document. It's Florida's Board of Education standards for 2023. And when you look at it, it has chapters for every group of studies. So it's a topic for math and for science and for all forms of curricula, all subject matters. And Black history has its own under social studies. The Florida State Board of Elections new standards include controversial language about how slaves develop skills, which in some instances could be applied to their personal benefit. Other language that has been drawn the ire of some educators and educational advocates include teaching how black people were also perpetrators of violence during race massacres. Oh, you mean try not to die? In history, there's a number of events that occurred in Florida, mass killings of black people that occurred in Florida that he doesn't want you to know about. For instance, 30 black people were killed in Ocoee? That's actually pronounced Ocoee, Florida. Because they wanted to vote. Like one black guy wanted to try to vote. And that set off a lynching spree of killing all the black people, and who they couldn't kill ran out of town. There were no black people left in this town because a black man in 1920 tried to vote. Yeah, he had the right to vote, but you could not vote. Get these people all the time. What are you talking about, Tim? What you mean you couldn't vote till like 1970, really? It killed mofos for trying to vote. Wow, man. Hope that vote was worth it. I wonder who it was for. Was it for a piece of garbage like Joe Biden, was it? You don't vote for me, you ain't black. So for anybody who's interested in looking at this for themselves, who may not believe your brother Tim Black, or just wants to dig further into the weeds of this issue, there is a specific section in the guidelines. Section 6.8, African American History Strand. Subsection 68AA11, understanding the causes and courses and consequences of the slave trade in the colonies. Examining the various duties and trades performed by slaves. You know, the NAACP a couple months ago issued a travels advisory for Black America. It said, don't go to Florida. Now, I've had my disagreements with NAACP. Typically, I'm like, hey, guys, you don't go far enough. Go farther, be harder, be more hardline, be more serious, be like the Anti-Defamation League. You even say Jew, they get mad. Can't even say Jewish? You better say Jewish, mofo. I can't even get white people to stop calling us niggas. Why can't I use the word? To black, you're stuck. Someone actually said to me last week, a liberal, Tim, you're still fighting wars we've already won. Just let it go. We need to focus on class. Really? Journaled. Is that true? Did you talk to Ron and his Women's of the Confederate Revolution or whatever, American Revolutionary Confederate, with these B-looking motherfuckers? Did you talk? I'm sorry. Did you talk to them? Or is that just how you feel inside your dungeon when you play Roblox? And Spank the Monkey, listening to Cardi B albums, watching Megan Thee Stallion. Who the fuck let you in my room? You know, seriously. Seriously. I want to know. Who told you the revolution was over? Who told you it started? And how dare you tell a black man with kids and a wife when it's okay to stop fighting? Just because you don't want to fight, punk. Huh? You coward. This is what I deal with. This is what I put up with. This is what I get. You need to calm down, Tim Black. Things are so, we need to focus on getting that Medicare for all. You need to focus on getting the hell off my porch. Do that. I'm giving you a good advice now. Get you and your blue hair, your flannel shirt, in 100-degree weather off my damn porch. One of us ain't gonna make it. And I'm gonna be fine. So back to NAACP with their travel advisory. Typically, I would not feel that they're doing a good job. Like, man, why don't you guys go hard? Go hard in the paint for something, for a change. But this time they were right. This time they were right. No black person should ever go to Florida unless you're incarcerated and have no choice. And if you, but see, once again, I disagree with them. I don't think they went far enough with this. I would go so far to say no black American who has children that will attend the public schools in Florida, no black Americans should send their children to those schools. And if they do, they should be charged with neglect. Because you unknowingly send your children to a school system that you know that will neglect to teach them the who, what, when, where, why, and how of American history. You're signing up for it. Now, I'm not talking about the people that are already there and don't have the means to get away. I had somebody write me about this, like, Tim, man, what are you talking about? What is NAACP talking about? I got family in Florida. What you don't go to Florida? I mean, black people got to go to Florida. You sound like Pierre. Black people got to go to Florida, man. Black people, they got to travel to Florida and they got to do what they got to do, man. Come on, man. I'm light skinned. I got to do what I got to do. I get you. That's different. Don't stay tonight. It's a sundown state. But if you willfully put your child, and you know what? And I'm going to go a step further on my own self. And I'm going to say in this instance, you're right. No person, black, white, Native American, Asian, Latinos that consider themselves actually something other than white, should go and put their children in the Florida public school system. Because you are depriving your children of a proper education. But see, I specifically, how I'm doing over there, Mrs. Blackham, okay?
You're doing good, yes.
I specifically focus on the black issue because it's one thing. See, I may never be able to penetrate the thickness of the dead weight between the ears of some people, particularly white folks, who are dead set on this idea that black people that talk about race are race peddlers. I may never be able to penetrate the granite. What's that hard substance? Not the steel, it's beyond steel. It's that stuff that the Terminator was made out of. Plutonium or some I don't know. I may never be able to penetrate that to get through to you. But you know what? I have to live with that. I will try, but titanium, that's it. I may never be able to penetrate the titanium between the ears of white Americans who believe that any conversation about race is race peddling or race hustling or something akin to something that Al Sharpton did. Al Sharpton wasn't always wrong either. He's not always wrong. He's more right than Ron DeSantis is, particularly on the issues of race. So get off his ass. Yeah, I know he was an informant or something. That got nothing to do with it. You think Ron is? But see, I'm more concerned with black kids because see, it's one thing for other people, white people, not to believe that all the discrimination and all of the trappings of being black in America, all the residual damage of that, the tax of being an African American and black American. It's one thing for them not to understand it, but it's another thing for you not to understand it. Because you got to live with it. You got to try to maneuver through this torture chamber. You got to maneuver through it. So you need to understand it. And so for you not to think, hey, what's wrong with me? Why am I not succeeding? Why am I not achieving? Without even crossing your mind, your black mind, that you are black in America, that person may have had a bad experience with a black person in their figment of their imagination at one point. That white person may have woke up and saw colors and got pissed. 30 years ago, they saw colors. It's those blacks. Just like that iced tea, fella. That was all it took. Now that person's a general manager at a company that you want to work at, and you come through the door and everyone pretty much knows. No ends. So you need to be aware of that. You don't need to walk around with rose-colored glasses of what's going on. I'm not saying don't try, but Jesus Christ, know that you got people that will put in a curricula that says they don't want to know nothing about you, man. They don't want to know what you people been through. They want to say, oh, you guys are basically apprentices. You were working in slavery was like a trade school for blacks. They want you to believe that slavery wasn't a barbaric enterprise where black men and women were raped, tortured, killed, maimed, sold, broken like beasts. We ought to believe some good came out of it. They want us to believe some good came out of it. Like, because the last ones that were still alive were able to make horseshoes. No business loans, no home loans, no land. Black codes, don't stand there. You don't have a job? Well, I can't find a job. That's jail. According to the 13th Amendment, you are now back enslaved. Property as state. Now we rent you out to the same plantations you worked on. Blackie, come on, man, you gotta know how this works. Go to church. Pray for heaven. So, folks, that's all I got on this topic. It's a growing, moving thing. It's alive. This thing is alive, folks. Ron DeSantis, his Board of Education, have decided, they have so decreed, the Florida folks will be as ignorant as they want them to be and as racist as they want them to be, under the guise of protecting white people from the truth. Can you imagine fighting to have the victims who were killed in mass listed as perpetrators, like it was a fight? They dropped bombs on a black town, dragged out men, women, and children and shot them point blank, buried them in mass graves. And the ones that fought back as they were running, trying to save their kinfolk, you want to put in the history book, well, it was violence on both sides. They didn't all just die, they just tried to fight, so that's violence. So don't feel bad about it, white person, because they fought too. It takes two to be slaughtered. With no tangoing. So anyway, I'm off that. Mrs. Black, I know I went for a long time there. You got any thoughts about that stuff there?
Yeah, I just, the fact that someone who has the power of a governor, who can sign laws that erases history from books. I see him as a coward. I see him as this person who has certain internal beliefs, and also to appease white people in that state who don't want their children to feel a certain way about what actually occurred in this country. He's lying to the people, and any curriculum that focuses on lying, I can't understand how this can happen. On the legal side of this, I'm wondering if any lawsuits can come out of this. I believe this would be a legitimate case to go to the Supreme Court. I find it infuriating that this governor believes Africans were kidnapped, stolen from their country, from their culture, from their families, and brought to this country so that we could learn a trade or learn all the benefits that being enslaved taught us. It makes no sense, and something needs to be done legally. This, to me, we're in the 21st century. This is modern times, And something this ridiculous is happening in what's supposed to be the greatest country in the world. And as Tim mentioned earlier, other people who have lived through atrocities, such as the Jewish community, through the Holocaust, we hear never forget. We hear never forget even for 9/11. Our history in this country cannot be forgotten either. I don't understand why, when it comes to Black people in this country, that when our stories need to be told and our culture needs to be shared so that there will not be a repeat of what happened, we're told to forget about it. When we talk about our issues, our past, it's being divisive. It's wrong. It's wrong. I'm not an attorney. I'm not in a legal field at all, but I am hoping that there are lawsuits that can come to play to our highest court in this country for a debate. It should even be a debate. But this shouldn't be happening. I am appalled, and to me, it's just unbelievable that this mediocre person in this powerful position in this state can call for this to happen. And it would be interesting, too, to see how other people truly feel about what he's doing. I'm sure the entire state of white people who have children who attend public schools in Florida do not feel this way. So I'm just hoping that something else another step can be made to look at what is happening in Florida, because it can't end like this. It honestly cannot end like this.
Wow.
Those are my thoughts.
Wow. Well said, Mrs. Black. Well said, Mrs. Black. Wow. And I definitely appreciate you ending it the way you did, because one of the things this show tries to do is remind people that it's not everybody. And that's not so that we can kumbaya. That's just reality. Just reality of the situation. So there is a possibility of us turning this around, because it's going to require us working with other groups in order to get that done. I don't think Florida has enough Black power to change this on their own. But working with allies, I know that's a word that people don't like using often. In certain sections, it's not everybody, man. It's just I get pushback from some people who are very critical of that, because some of them, rightly so, some of them feel that that's a term is given out too freely. And I agree with that. But there are people that want accurate history. You don't have to be a saint to want accurate history taught in your schools. And there are people that would feel that this is an abomination. Your job is to comment, like, and share this content. Hey, Florida, can you hear me now?
Tim Black's The Black Table streams Sundays at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Times on Facebook and YouTube. Be there, Wolfpack. We've got your back.